my friends. If this is your first time here, then welcome. This spread for this particular reading has been developed over years to really find a combination that really works. And also, just to let you know, this is not that your ex is coming back and just like I'm throwing this on you. No, this is for the people who actually are still having a connection, or maybe they're anticipating kind of like that something still is ongoing. They still want something to happen with their ex, such as like maybe hoping for a reunion. If you're not wanting your ex, then please, this is not a reading for you. Check my monthlies instead. So in a moment, I'm going to explain the cards, but at the same time, I'm going to provide a timestamp for those people who already know it. If you're the first time here, please go to the explanation. But before I start this, yay, there's like something that you waited for entire year, my 2019 annual TAROSCOPES. It's time to pre-order. So you can go www.cattarot.ca/annual, and that's going to get you to the form. The moment when I make the first one, this price of $19.99 for individual sign or $39.99 for all signs is going to move to $29.99 for one and $59.99 for all. So this is like your opportunity to really grab a good deal. If you remember the last year, then they were like about hour and a half to 2 hours long. It was covering all kind of like segments and career and love and family and so on and so forth. In the description of this video, you are going to be able to see the 2018. So just like scroll down below and check it. Okay, so the next is to kind of like jump into this explanation, and for my regulars, here is a timestamp, and just jump right straight to the reading. Okay guys, as you're going to see, I don't know if you can see the difference in colors. Look at how old is this deck, about 25 years old. And the same cards exist in this deck as well. So I am choosing these 7 cards because they're going to be able to give me that combination, that magic key, and the answer that you really want. So let's start. Like, first card that I have taken over here is the Magician. And the Magician is really going to tell me about what is going on for your relationship. If this is really a go, if your relationship can actually fly. It's also going to tell me if your relationship was ever a starter. So both positive and negative is going to give us some answers. The next one is going to be the Temperance reversed. And usually the Temperance upright talks about stars are aligning and everything is like kind of like working together. When it is reversed, it tells me what is really not gluing and what kind of like things you still really need to pay attention and even work on in a relationship. So it's kind of like a really important combination of the two. Then we are going to have the Queen of Wands and also Knight of Wands. With these two cards, they are going to be significators for you and your mate, right? So they are interchangeable. You have to kind of like decide which one are you, and you're going to know it as when I start reading which one applies. This is the energy in between the two of you, and it's going to tell me if there is any communication and what's going on. Is there any manipulation? Is there any approach? And so on and so forth. Kind of like really important as well. Then we have Karma card. Many people disregard, karma, who cares? Well, let me ask you this. If you're now looking back in the past and you think about your relationships, isn't this like, a point that you think, I should have skipped this one? You see, this is really what is telling you about it. Maybe you really go, I want it. But karma is telling you, maybe, sweetie, you shouldn't be going in that direction. So that category is very important, because if you're not in sync with karma, everything will be breaking and things will not be coming your way, right? And then lastly, we have Four of Wands, and Four of Wands is kind of like going to tell me where is like this whole relationship going on and what can you do. So let's start with the reading itself. Hello Aquarians. let's see what is in store for us this particular month. It's October, November. Again, guys, please check your ascendant and check your moon sign. If you don't know what it is, in the description you have that link to natal chart, so basically you can kind of like get the idea. And you know, if you're cross-watching for somebody, check their Mars sign as well. So sometimes you get message on one but not on another, so it's kind of good to basically check them all. Of course, private reading really beats everything, trust me on this. And don't forget that every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time I have a live, so if you haven't pressed this button here, please do subscribe and press the bell, and you're going to be invited whenever I'm live, and you can actually maybe get a chance to win 15-minute reading with me. So let's see what we have. Whoa, the Death card reverse, not a good place to be. It could be somebody that we put on a pedestal, that there is telling me there is unnecessary suffering, and we are suffering over a situation where the situation was caused by somebody, by this King of Wands, somebody who at the time seemed to be a solution, seemed to be very, very important, but this King of Wands is falling in this place. What needs to be glued? Clearly it was them, you know, like when they're saying there are two sides of a pancake. In this case, no, it's them. But this is saying that we need to kind of like check our own head. Why are we still interested? Why are we still suffering? Why are we not transforming our life? Why are we not going the next stage? Why are we still linked with this person? What is like that karmically that we really need to learn? Because this is a very strong opening, strong beginning. The Death, for God's sake, you know, what is going on over here? And then Hermit reversed. Yeah, I guess some of us feel lonely. Some of us, I would even say, feel like fake. I would say it is kind of, the Hermit is a lovely card. It's kind of where you don't do things for because other people tell you this is a must to do. This is like finding your own answers. I sometimes link this to the middle age crisis or middle age, where, you know, everything that was like so important for you, everything that you were striving for, I want a career, I want kids, I want blah blah blah, right? You know, what the heck, you know, I need kind of like the space for me. It was a joke, and I am horrible joke teller, so I'm going to tell you this anyway. I'm not expecting you to laugh, but I'm just expecting you to understand. So an old, not so much old, but sort of like fisherman is sitting on basically on the beach next to his little kind of like boat, and this kind of like very rich gentleman is approaching him, and he's saying, well, I heard you're really, really good fisherman. So what do you do all day long? He goes, well, I wake up and I make love to my wife, spend some time with my children, then we cook this beautiful lunch, this fish that I kind of like caught the day before. Then I have siesta and I kind of relax a little bit. Then I go and do some fishing, just like as I'm getting ready right now. Come back home and I cuddle with my wife, I spend time with my children, I kiss them all, and you know, I'm feeling like $1 million. Guys, well, what if you can really have $1 million, not only feel like $1 million? So guys go, okay, what would I need to do? He goes, well, you kind of buy a few boats, maybe first of all just one more, so you work a little bit more in order to actually be able to have more fish which you can now resell. It's not only for your use, but you know, now you have this money, so you buy the second boat and you're putting somebody there to kind of like work, and you're now becoming profitable. And when this happens, you get a third one and fourth one and fifth one, and you're controlling all this kind of like, you know, a little operation. And the next thing you know, you might have a 20, you might have 30 boats. You don't even have to go and fish yourself. All you have to do is just control it, and you have to kind of like see that all this kind of what they call it, float, kind of like fleet really works. You guys go, okay, but wouldn't that mean that I would really work a lot? Guy said, yeah, but you would work a lot. I mean, pretty much like, I mean, morning to night, but look at these rewards. You would be very, very rich. And this guy goes, the fisherman, and what then? And he goes, in a few years you can retire and you don't have to work anymore. And he goes, and what does it mean, retire? So he goes, you can spend time with your wife and with your children and kind of like really enjoy it. And the guy goes, hello, what do you think I'm doing right now? So it's kind of like, you see this like kind of like full circle that is really happening over here. And this is kind of like that understanding. You really need to push myself forward to buying that fleet and kind of like work and be obnoxious. It's kind of like that maturity. But when this is reversing, it is like something that somebody kind of like really touched in us. And it's really, really almost like they stole a big piece of us that we need to repair, but it's really not repaired yet. There is like still suffering that's happening. Oh my gosh, these two cards are God cards, and Hangman is really three. These three are God cards. I'm actually having goosebumps. I don't know if you can see this. This really never happened. I am actually really oh my gosh, just 3 cards and they're here. The Hangman is God card, because God is saying, here is saying, I need to find the answers for myself. Here is saying, well, you know what? Yeah, I'm trying to control everything. I was always trying to control everything, and now I'm getting these results, and why am I not getting what I'm getting? And like, maybe I have to see things from other person's viewpoint and see what they see, even if it's something I disagree with. This is the card of sacrifice, right? Remember, for you Christians out there, kind of like Jesus died on a cross, sacrifice for everybody kind of a thing, right? But look at him. He is not unhappy. He is kind of like beaming with thoughts, with this newfound understanding. Like, this is kind of like act of putting yourself in the situation. Something has happened over here that maybe somebody pulled a plug and sacrificed this entire relationship for some reason. And kind of like left wondering, well, have I done the right thing, and why things didn't work out better. It kind of like really looks like it was a switcheroo. The person was advertising one thing, and then you open up, it was a completely different thing. It's just like one of those Chinese kind of like stuff that you buy. It looks wonderful because they put the you know, the brand names on, and then what you get is like, what kind of a thing. So, and then kind of like you have the Fool, and Fool is basically the 0 card. It's God, it's everything, you know. It goes around, and it's also this kind of like exuberant feeling of God arriving on this planet and having this unbelievable trust. I can do anything. All I need is in this little kind of like sack. All I need there. But this little doggy is saying, well, no, I'm the society. I'm telling you, you can't really do anything here. For example, we have gravity to start, and you're going to fall off this cliff. And what then? So this is divine intervention, guys, this month. So if you still have a ghost of your ex, you need to work on this. There was like sacrifice that has been made, and that sacrifice made everybody involved, not only Aquarians, but everybody involved, move to the next level. Looks like it was a huge kind of like karmic connection where things really needed to go in a much different direction than it was going up to this point. I have a feeling that life changed immensely. And of course, when there's like such a big intervention, it kind of like really feels that you are not being yourself anymore. Ace of Cups. What a lovely card to get here after all of this basically crap. So it's telling that, yeah, there is like this light at the end of the tunnel. There is like this vision. There is like something that we can do, we want to do. And we don't really need to anymore kind of like look down, or you see, this is the card of looking at the details, looking at kind of like that everything is in their space. And this is kind of like telling us quite the opposite. How about, again, dreaming big? Isn't this what Aquarians are there for? Kind of like this big kind of like things 15 years in the future or 50 years in the future at times. Why not to go back there? That's like something that we had that we have lost, but only temporarily, just because we have been reshifted. There was like adjustment, divine adjustment that have been made. Adjustment always hurts. It always hurts when you have to rip something. Imagine you glue certain things, two things together, and you go, oops, this is not right, it's not going to be solid, and you have to rip it apart. And then you can see all these kind of little pieces. So that's what happened. And I really think that's like still suffering, but this is like saying we need to move forward. So let me see what else. This is clearly us, and I really feel that maybe it was a situation where children were involved, or it was a situation where the behavior was so abrupt and so harsh. And this could be us as well. As you know, as an air sign, if somebody pisses us off, we are not the pussycats to deal with. We will have ting, 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 all the claws out there. It's not going to be fun for people who mess with us. And the unfortunate part, though, is that it takes us forever to really kind of like speak up. And we are really trying to be loyal and nice and kind. And of course, we attract weirdos, right? Because, of course, we are Aquarians. But when kind of like that weirdo turns out to be somebody who's manipulating us, we get mad, and we cannot get unmad. And this is like really the reason why we are stuck, is like there are certain answers. We actually want the answers from them, and you know, guys, this is not realistic, and it doesn't look like they're not, it looks like they're not in any rush to give us those answers. Whoa. Some of us dealt with codependency. The devil reversed. He's telling me there was a third party in this entire situation. We could have been cheated out of the prize. We placed somebody in the position that this person is our prize. We seen the future, and this person was with someone. This person had severe influence of the other factors in their life. To me, this can be either a third person or an ex who's pulling really, really big strings over here. The devil card reversed is also talking to me about codependency. You know, when instead of like saying, wait a minute, you know, like when you look at somebody else's situation, it's so easy to make this kind of judgment. No, you shouldn't be treated this way. Just like leave this, you know, person not good. You need to let go of this woman or man, right? But when it comes to us, it's different. All of a sudden, it's emotional involvement, which is really hard to kind of like break, especially because of that enormous loyalty, and also because we are like 11, 1, 1, double 1. We kind of like really want to go to our goal, and sometimes like we are so stubborn that sometimes we get what we want. You know what they say, beware what you wish for, you might get it, and that's when we get it, and it just explodes in our face. Knight of Cups. Where is my little thingy here? Knight of Cups. You know what? It's like somebody who promises the world, and it's just like person you cannot really trust at all. At all. I don't like this Knight of Cups. And being an air sign, when you see something like this, is like somebody who is romantic, and somebody maybe who was buying gifts, and somebody who was really treating us differently, and we kind of like maybe were in completely uncharted territory. We didn't know how to behave, because we generally engage with others not so much on romantic level, but more or less on exchange level. Let's do stuff, you know, let's get together, you know. That's kind of like the friendlinesses that appeal to us. But I think we got taken as for sucker, and we were a sucker, and that's I really think maybe that's what's hurting. How can I be sucked into kind of like all these things? Why didn't I listen to myself? And I really think this is coming to the surface, right? And like we are really resenting, thinking that, well, it looks, they're fine, nothing is really affecting them, and I am having my entire life torn. You know, are they fine? They are fine if they learn a lesson, because that's like what it was saying there. And no, they're not fine. Page of Wands reversed is like talking about somebody who's still not moderating intensity. There was like some level of intensity that is like we can tolerate intensity for sure. I think we are the sign who can tolerate more intensity than anybody else, but this was damaging, and it was like putting themselves first, waiting for us to always come to them. And we are not the sign that likes to beg, and if we do that, it's kind of like not something we can forget. And right now I think it's the anger that is like really kind of like waking up in us. So Wheel of Fortune, the karma card, it's reversing. So look at this, like 4 fixed signs. We have Taurus, we have Leo, we have Scorpio, and we have another Aquarius, or this could be simply us. And then we have the Scorpio here, Capricorn, Virgo. These are earth signs, these are air signs. So like lots of things are coming up. I really think, guys, that if you're like really thinking this is only about that person, it isn't. It is about something that had to be acknowledged in life, something that shifted us. So yeah, it is still saying that we kind of like still feel a little bit down, and you're kind of like wondering, oh my gosh, how do I go up? How do I get out of this? There is like this big question, but you need to trust me that we are getting out of this. We are. I'm seeing this, like taking this devil energy out of our system. It's hard. This is kind of collective karma. You guys, some of you maybe who are interested, get my karma readings. It's going to tell you what you really need to accomplish in this life. Because this is telling me kind of like there is like this whole thing that this is not going anywhere. And I really feel like we don't want it to go anywhere. We kind of like really want to get the truth and get out of there. But the truth can be served to ourselves. We have to face the truth. We don't need to get the truth. And I think that's the difference. And look at us. If you do that, we are becoming this magician. We are becoming all powerful, all knowing. We can create anything we want. And you know that you had it in you. You just have to close your eyes and ask yourself, when was the last time I did it? Yeah, I did that. I understand. I can do that. I can do that again. And I bet on me. Because look at here, we have the 10 and we have the 1. So the cycle is moving forward. They're still in the past. They still didn't manage to switch forward, even though there is a lesson for them. And unless they realize the sacrifices that have been made for them and the value of that, they're just going to stay basically stuck where they are. Yeah, I don't think there's communication going on, of at least there's like significant delay or something that you really don't want to hear that it might be arriving. Look at this, we have the 8 of Wands and now we have the 7 of Wands, both reversed. 7 of Wands is like, look at him holding this wand in front of his heart and his heart chakra, and look at him, he doesn't seem to be, and you see nothing but a blur here. Is it now that you can see something? Gosh, come on camera, there you go. Look at him. No, it's reversed. We don't give an F anymore, right? And you know, it's like, look, I don't really care. And you know what, this is like literally when you can heal. It's not when you kind of like care about good or bad. It's just like when you don't even remember. And this is like what they see happening. We moving forward. We are moving forward, because look at the 7 and 8 is 15. This is this energy. We managed to remove, almost like, you know how those relationship, you have this parasite just like jump on you and he's using your energy, and this is it. Off I go. I kind of like, I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting off this cancer. There is like another 7 over here, and look at that. So now clearly a message that this is like a spiritual path, that we need to open ourselves to new possibilities. I have a feeling that some of you are not even willing to date, that some of you are just like simply quietly suffering, because we Aquarians are not vulnerable. We don't really want to go out and tell people that we're suffering. We just suffering in peace. We even, you know, when people kind of like consider the depression and they see this person, you know, showing in his commercials crying at home, they don't want to engage. Well, there is like also depression where you can appear to be functioning very well. Just like think of Robin Williams, like even humorous and everything, and then you come home and it's, you close the door and there is like this big, you know, darkness, this big precipice, and sometimes people just jump into that. So this person was juggling us and is still juggling. This person is just no good. They're self-serving. They just like look in their interests. They had like highly self-centered energy, maybe even narcissistic energy. Oh, look at that. Lovely. I love this card. This is the card of victory. We are kind of like cutting things off. It's enough. Enough. Nobody messes. You know what they say, nobody puts baby in a corner? Well, let me paraphrase that. Nobody messes with Aquarians. Nobody puts us in a corner. And we kind of like need to still do a little bit more work. Five of Wands, it's about boundaries. It's about the push and pull, and arguing is okay, but I really think we lost a sense of how much we need to argue here, and things went overboard. I kind of like really feel that things went overboard, and it had that divine intervention as a result of that. Kind of like we need to figure out what inside of us we need to change, but also what on the outside we need to change. Keep in mind that this card also can mean that they want to actually get in touch with us, and again, they're more than willing to juggle all over again, but we are not in that game anymore. We are not playing that game, that's for sure. I'm seeing, like, guys, this is a huge reading, and I would love to get your comments, guys. And of course, don't forget, Saturday 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have a live and I read weekly, and somebody's going to win 15-minute reading with me. It's just a basic question, but at least, you know, it's a possibility of understanding how tarot works on a personal level. Because trust me, this, when I do the reading for you, it's not only, hey, this is what's going to happen. I actually really suggest to you what you can do. Like here, you can kind of do stuff and shed this almost like devil. Let's call this person the devil, because it really feels like it, and we have to be able to kind of like say no more. And I really think this is what's going to happen in this period of time. In spite of everything looking, it's kind of like done differently. It is a big shift, guys, and we should really look forward to it. So my dear Aquarians, thank you for sticking here with me, and if you're a newbie here, please press this button, subscribe. I love to see you here, and until the next time, guys, you know that I love you.